Hey folks, welcome to the K8s-Infra meeting. We are February 28th. This is, like I said, this is the K8s-Infra meeting. It's happening bi-weekly and it's under the code of conduct. So like in the past meeting, be excellent to each other. So before we start, do we have any new people willing to introduce themselves on that? Okay, the first thing is bidding review. Is there like any something specific we want to talk about for GCP?
I would like to ask if you have any idea why is there another uptick in the compute engine usage?
In
the compute engine, the blue one, like we can see that it went significantly up recently, a few days ago.
Oh yeah. When is that? February 24.
This
I
week,
don't know.
Monday and Tuesday.
So could be the usage of GPU because we basically change the GPU we currently use. I need to look into that. I don't know. And that's like Monday. Yeah, that probably could be the GPU.
The other thing is we run that GP test way too frequently. I think it's like every 2 hours.
Yeah, that's a cloud provider problem. If you want to really reduce that, talk to cloud provider or GCP or Google folks about this. We basically K8s is not supposed to basically kind of strongly define how many times a job is supposed to run. Maybe there's value on running that frequently, so because it's master blocking for some of them. And basically they get quick signal if they like something to change. But I don't have this basically good knowledge of the GPU test. So to answer to Marco's question, I will take a look into that. Let's see the delta in the monthly, basically in the weekly report of that Caleb posts every Sunday. Oh, we see the delta. Is that okay for you?
Yes, it is.
Okay, yeah. So just ping me next Monday. I will basically check what's happening. I honestly don't know because that's happened. Yeah, Monday. So the only thing I can suspect is the GPU, but is there like something else? Yeah, we need to investigate. So let's give a way to see what's happening. Okay. Anything else? And this also could be that we have basically at some point in the race person spike about computing giant. That's how basically I want to basically see 1 week because sometimes it's just spiking. We saw that in the past. Anything else we want to talk about GCP building? Hey, Teams. We just started, so. We basically end of the month. Yeah, we have an increase on basically on computing giant because of the commitment. That's basically kind of expected. Compared to,
Yeah, if you just go back for a second, do you see that entry called null 4?
yeah, yeah.
That's the commit that's not being utilized. So you're able to squeeze in $8,000 worth of compute usage over on an hourly basis, split over hours. However, if we do introduce spiky workloads, so scale test is a good example. It's a spiky workload. I mean, will burst beyond your commit. That's probably not a good candidate. But like if we are introducing certain, let's say for example, our build clusters, right? We made them like twice as big. For example, you could use that null value there to offset that cost, for example.
Yeah, but you're gonna burst that easily, especially with the build cluster.
No, what I'm saying, build clusters, they run 24/7, right? So this is an example of a workload that could benefit from that extra charge, that's extra capacity that's available.
Oh, okay.
Because you're paying this regardless of what we're doing.
Okay. So yes, I'm gonna add another node pool.
Yeah, exactly. Preferably with newer machines, like something a lot more modern.
Yeah, I'm gonna add it. Yeah, I'm gonna add a new node pool and maybe into type to see what's happening. So yeah, during the month of March, we see if that was enough to basically consume that extra commitment.
Yeah.
Okay. That sounds good.
Yeah, but yeah, it's good to know that so far the extra charge isn't too high, and we can spin up compute to pay for it, to use it.
The thing is, we could keep this. We're ultimately gonna have a new GK cluster in the next month. So we could just keep this and know we have this like extra, and the new GK cluster will consume that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, that's like, as long we know about this, that's fine.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah, I was still basically I want to do the one thing. I want to do the thing we did in AKS, basically have a separate node pool to put the monitoring stack and bus codes on it, and leave one node pool for all the crowd job. I'm gonna do that in March, current of March, and later when we're gonna basically have the new GK cluster, I think we're gonna burst that extra commitment and should be fine for us for the rest of the year. Okay. Anything else?
You're on mute again, but I assume you want me to get my AWS thing up.
Yeah, I was hoping you can share.
All right, let's see. So I'm logged in here using Okta. It's pretty neat. But yeah, let's see. I'm gonna go Cost Explorer for a second. Let's see. Okay. All right. Where would you like me to go from here?
Cost Explorer. Yeah, the first one. Yeah, the first one. No. Basically, the thing on top, because this one is going to be confusing. Yeah, exactly. And yeah, that's good. Now, stay on Cost Explorer. Yeah. Yes. Okay. Go on the right. You will look on the right, look for charge type. Yeah, okay. You exclude credit and support fee. You exclude. Yes. That's apply, and you go on top of still on the right, and you filter dimension, you pick service account. There's like dimension, you pick service account. Yeah, link account. Yeah, link account. Yeah, that should tell you can be grounded up because you go to August 23. Yeah, 2023. You should basically go on top and pick month to date. Yeah, there's like month to date. On yes, yeah, that will give you. Or you can basically go back to 3 months and say you want to compare. You want to compare basically what was, I would say, the cost based on the last 3 months. Daily is not really interesting because it's really difficult to know exactly what's running on a specific day. Yeah. So yeah, you didn't include February. Yes. The joy of the Cost Explorer. Oh, that's good. That's good. Yeah, now that's good. You can go down and basically see the delta over. Yeah. I think the good thing is like we basically reduce our monthly cost. Because there were like no activity on the scaling test, thanks teams, we close to match GCP cost for scalability tests of the year of 2023. And another side effect is like the rollout of platform for the registry reduced our cost by 10K. No, by 8. Yeah, by 8K. Yeah, so I would say so it was a good month because we were able to get some cost reduction over different accounts. Yeah. Okay, I have to be honest, February was just 29 days compared to January with 30 days. So we have 1 day missing, but yeah, I think, yeah, there was like some kind of cost reduction for February. Oh, and thanks to the cleanup done in the Bosco account, we can basically see the projection about that. Because we went from, on some specific Bosco account, we went from 1,000 to literally 200. That's nice. And that's it for me. If anyone wants to comment about this, questions, feel free to drop.
The networking account looks like it's significantly higher.
Yeah, that's where we put the platform distribution for the registry, because I didn't want to basically put that in the account where there's like bucket for security concern. So I put that I forgot to mention that. So that's where we have one CloudFront distribution serving three countries in Europe. And the most significant cost is coming from Netherlands. I think we serve literally 3 terabytes per day over there. And that's the measure. So we serve specific some countries in Asia, Netherlands, and Belgium. So that's why we see, because in some of those regions, we have a GCP, there's a GCP infrastructure, but there's no AWS infrastructure. So instead of pulling from another AWS region, we basically have user pulling from CloudFront. and that's like help reduce balance the cost. And I think we don't really have the choice, because if we have those service endpoint present there, we need to serve from somewhere. Any question regarding that? Okay, so we have the time to comment about so many tabs on Mohammed browser.
Yeah. Yeah, that's me. A million tabs open, yeah. And this is my personal window. Like my work window is also just as busy, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, we are all part of this club. Don't worry about that.
Lately, though, Chrome has this feature enabled where you see that this test grid tab, right? It's got a circle around it and it's been killed by Chrome.
Oh,
Like,
they can optimize memory by killing process on the tab.
yeah.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know about that. I need to upgrade my Chrome. Hopefully they basically, yeah, it's like a Chrome feature, not a Chromium feature.
No, it's a Chrome feature, so like I use Chrome.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was curious about we can get that in Brave or the Arc browser or stuff like that. Okay, I think we can go to the open discussion. I need to share my screen again. Yes. Marco, I think it's only you today.
It looks like so. Yeah, I like three topics to the agenda. I think it's quite interesting to at least special them. The first one is the EKS Pro cluster incident that he had last Wednesday, a week ago. Basically, what happened for folks who didn't see the postmortem on this incident is that we tried to optimize like the where we ran Flux and to move it to the stable node pool that we added relatively recently. For that, we use customize, like the core one, and like we try to patch the Flux components, but we actually, that was mostly me who didn't really understand how it works. And like I thought that like because there is a customized resource coming from Flux and there's a customized resource coming from core Kubernetes, I thought that if you put like in resources in the core Kubernetes, in the core customized resource, like that you should only put resources where the patches and everything you define should apply. And like everything that's defined in the Flux customization resource is going to be applied to the cluster. That's actually not the case. That's actually what happened. Actually, what you define in the customize, the core one, is also applied by Flux. So it basically just we define that with one file. It basically nuked all other resources managed by Flux because it applied that one file and pruned all other files, all other Flux resources that we managed that pretty much removed everything else that we deployed. And as we deployed most of the stuff using Flux, pretty much everything in that cluster was gone. We managed to recover from that. It was not so complicated given that Flux managed to pretty much successfully deploy everything on the first try or on the second try, depending on how you count. And after that, the cluster came up. It took about 2 hours to have the cluster initially up and running. And like with Bosco's rollout and then the Bosco's account again, it was like 3 hours in total. So on one side, I'm pretty happy how we handled the incident and how we fast resolved. I am not so happy about that it happened in the first place. So I recommend taking a look if you're folks interested. I try to cover as much as possible. So any questions, feel free to reach out to me. We will do a few things to make this stuff more safer, like switching to Argo CD, which provides a little bit better UI for working with that. We will see like if we can do some other improvements to how we manage access to the cluster, how we what we do with the monitoring data that was lost, how we treat customizations and stuff like that, and if we can improve, for example, the layout of the files, resources, and everything. That will be about it from my side about that topic. Are there any questions?
Thanks for writing it up, and thanks for being transparent. These things happen for sure, right? Like I see so many things happening internally as well. So we got to keep going on and see how to. Yes, recovering is definitely one of the things that we need to do it. Like we probably have to do it periodically as well, right? Like so we know what steps to take on how to recover. But that might be hard given what we take care of here. But yeah, second best is just having updated information on like what do we think is going to go wrong and like how do we recover from it for sure.
Yeah. Thanks for the input. Anyone else about this topic?
Marco, one thing there was some follow-up around was like what was the list of secrets and what do we have in the cluster? You remember that conversation? Did we already deal with that?
Yes, well, to some degree. Thanks to Mohammed, we now manage all secrets using external secrets operator that we can manage. The only problem that we have is actually Boscos, because for Boscos we have to like insert secrets into Boscos resources manually. That is something that I don't know how we can solve. Ideally, it would be nice if Boscos could read from secrets, but I'm worried that Boscos was not touched for ages, and I'm a little bit worried to touch it. So we could eventually document it and say that, I don't know, we could eventually put those secrets in one password, something like that, so we have them somewhere. But everything else is managed using external secrets operator, so we are good there.
Okay. So put the secrets in one password, maintain a list of the secrets that go into Boscos, document that somewhere, and then write the instructions for how to upload the secrets from one password into Boscos, right? Okay. Yeah.
Sorry, I muted myself. I'm trying to
I
take
think
those as well.
the one thing we could do is also look at how we can automatically sync from one password to the build cluster, because if I remember correctly, I think there was an operator allowing to do that, but I can check on that and basically see how we can do that. Instead of basically
Yeah.
I would rather mess around with Boscos and like get it to upload from ESO using ESO sort of thing, rather than integration with one password, because that's outside the boundary, right?
Okay.
Yeah, it will still be probably secrets based, and without Bosco's being able to recognize secrets, it's not going to help actually.
Right. So basically, right now, we need to find a way to tell Boscos to go read it from ESO or secrets registry, right? Like, I think Boscos has a couple of variations on like AWS versus GCP kind of thing. So once you have this instructions, I'll go dig up and see if there's anything that we can do quickly. Marco.
Sounds good. I will try to create some issues to follow up on this on GitHub in the upcoming days, and we will see about that.
Okay, thanks.
And thanks a lot again. If there's nothing else, I will go to the next topic. Okay, monitoring for GKE. The monitoring stack from the EKS cluster has been copied to GKE cluster. It's like 99% same, besides the fact that some minor stuff has been changed, like we don't have the stable node group. We dropped some resources that we don't use. We didn't copy stuff like Blocky because we don't use Flux there. What else? We didn't copy all Grafana dashboards, only those relevant to jobs. And I managed to confirm that metrics are properly collected because we created a load balancer service for Grafana, and I checked via IP, and like it's working, it's all okay, and that's great. I was trying to deal with Ingress not wanting to expose stuff, and it was a very trivial issue of I copied a Terraform resource for a regional IP, and for egress, you must use the global IP. And basically now we need to recreate the IP address and then update the DNS record. I created a PR before this meeting, IP in Darno, but I believe we are most likely to follow up on that tomorrow, I hope. And once that's done, we will probably have the monitoring running on monitoring-gke.proud.k8s.io, similar to EKS one. I didn't want the URL to differ too much from the EKS, so it's easy to remember it, especially since it's like a temporary URL, because we will have like, when we have centralized monitoring, we will probably come up with another URL that we can use, and that is like going to cover all clusters. And that's it here. Oh yeah, we are also working. The next step we are going to take is to try to install kubectl to that cluster. I asked Corey today to look into this, and I think that I hope this will be done this week as well, or beginning of next week, and then we will have like some information from kubectl about like what jobs are not optimized and stuff like that. I saw plenty of jobs that are not really optimized, looking just by Grafana. So I think there's a lot of space for improvement there. Which is, by the way, totally okay. Like when we migrated jobs from the default cluster, and thanks a lot to Ricky for that. Like Ricky did some truly amazing jobs on that. And we didn't really know how many resources, so those were estimations. And now that we have the proper monitoring, we can optimize that. Which kind of brings me to the next topic, which is workshop at the Contributor Summit, where we are actually going to go through some jobs. It's a 90-minute workshops. Corey is going to prepare a report from kubectl that's going like to cover the jobs that are most inefficient. And we are going to go to jobs. We are going to have contributors that want to join us. They're going to create PRs and to like try to optimize those jobs based on metrics that we have from the monitoring stacks. And basically that will be a great chance to learn how to do this properly and to learn how to use our tooling like the monitoring stack, and also to learn how to optimize jobs. Arno, you have a hand up.
Is there a dashboard for kubectl?
Yes. but it's
How
not publicly
we
exposed.
how we access to that?
We should figure that out.
Okay.
I guess we could just expose it publicly. We might need to check if there is any PII there.
I mean, basically, as TL, like basically the TL of the SIG, how they have access to it, even if like it's not public.
Yeah, you can go to the EKS Pro build cluster and then port forward to the kubectl service and then access it that way. That's how we are doing right now.
Okay. Okay.
Not super ideal, but I don't know. We should eventually figure out a way how are we going to expose it. And for now, that's like, to be fair, I can show it to you someday, but the data that kubectl is providing is not useful out of the box. We provided feedback about that to kubectl folks. Corey created some Python scripts to make the data more useful, and that's how we are generating the report. But we will see if kubectl folks follow up on that and like if there is anything that we can improve to make the data more usable out of the box.
Can we have that report monthly?
Yeah, I think yes. I will check with Corey, but maybe we can generate one in the upcoming days and we share it.
Yeah, I think the idea is basically if you install kubectl and we are capable to demonstrate the usefulness of it or be able to communicate each month how things are going. And I think that's like the one thing things we're talking about in the last meeting, be kind of transparent about things. That would be great. Like if we can have a report monthly from kubectl, yeah, for kubectl, we can compare to, because I think my understanding is kubectl is supposed to basically expose cost per proud job or per pod running inside a Kubernetes cluster, right?
Yeah, more or less, but it's a
Yeah,
little
okay.
bit more complicated.
Okay.
Yeah, just to
Yeah.
answer that, what you said, that's sort of the plan. However, we didn't want to like bring confusion and to start with that right now because it's not like deemed to be a super high priority. We would like to first go like before publicly sharing the reports and stuff like that. We would like to first go with the workshop with the contributor summit and like introduce folks there to how everything works and like to show them firsthand. And then after that, we will have some comms and stuff like that. It was decided that it's probably the best way forward, also to give us time to optimize the tooling and to have like monitoring stack on both GK and DKS and to like just have time to properly test everything and see if it is working. And then we have experience like in person to show how everything is working.
Yeah. Okay. I'm not. Yeah. Let me rephrase this. I think following the workshop, we should have a monthly report. Yeah.
That's
Basically
where
to
I
get
agree.
traction. Yeah. To kind of get traction, because we basically say, okay, you present something, you're gonna present something during the workshop, and we say, okay, we're gonna start publish the things we get from kubectl. Doesn't need to be perfect, but basically to gain traction amongst the people you met. So like following the workshop, let's have a monthly report from kubectl, because it's going to be deployed on both build cluster, and ultimately we have that conversation about having another build cluster on Oracle. It will be interesting to have a basically monthly report for kubectl on those three clusters. And that's it for me.
Yeah, I will follow up with Corey with that and we will see if we can how we can handle that properly. And yeah, we will come up with some process and see even if we can make the kubectl dashboard public available. We will figure something out and we will follow up. Okay, any questions about those two topics?
Okay, I have like a quick announcement to make just to put that on the record. We have now access to Oracle to, at some point, we need to figure out how basically configuration. I was dealing with some issue with access, so we still don't know how we're going to use that, but just put it out there that we have now access to Oracle. And we have been in the call and we have 15 minutes left before end of the meetings. I kind of want to drop now because I think we're done. We have the subject cover. So if anything, we want to talk about some things, Ben, do we have an announcement like GCP giving 5 million per year? Something like that.
We have the announcement about we've set a hard deadline for like actually migrating Prow to try to make sure that that happens, right?
Yeah, but we don't
Okay.
have official basically feedback on this, so I'm not sure we want to discuss. I think we want to discuss edge cases.
I think it's reasonable to bring up in the meeting, looking at who's in the room. I'm not sure if we have a lot more to discuss. I think pretty much everyone is familiar. I think I've seen everyone here at the past meetings where we've discussed this problem. This is kind of more aimed at the rest of the project, but like for the record, we made an announcement yesterday, intending to turn down the internal cluster August 1 ahead of being able to move Brow. And thanks to Ricky's work, we're pretty far along on that, except like, some jobs that won't migrate that well. I'm going to personally take a stab at some of the weird Google stuff. If I can track that down, like the CFL fuzz, I think we could just get rid of. I'm trying to reach out to the folks who did that later. Ricky.
Just real quick for the decom, are we tying that like to the 1.31 release, or is it just kind of like arbitrary August something?
Yeah, August was chosen because it gives people about 5 months, which is not super short, to respond. Like if your job's not migrating, you have some time to talk to us and figure out something. And because then the hope, as I mentioned, the August one is to have a hard date for like cluster go away. You have a deadline, deal with it. But in terms of actually migrating Prow, the more realistic migration window is after we've thawed the repo following 131. So like we'll have a lot of churn going on in CI after we thaw the repo and start letting PRs merge again and we're done with the release. But shortly after that, the repo is usually pretty quiet. People aren't feeling the pressure of code freeze yet. And that's probably the ideal time. It's very unlikely. I've been having conversations about how we actually move Prow, and I'm not that confident that we're gonna have enough bandwidth to like build some perfectly smooth zero downtime way of moving things and then also get it right the first time. So instead, I'm kind of expecting that we're gonna have a bit of an outage in the transition, and we want that to be at a acceptable time, and early in 132 makes sense for that. 131 is just too soon. It doesn't give people much time to respond to like, hey, we might like delete your jobs because the cluster's going away.
My car's is hand raised, and I'm gonna.
Yeah, I just want to quickly ask if there is a proposal on how is it going to look like a public proposal.
For migrating Prow?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
we have a
It's a
draft
doc.
plan. We have a draft plan somewhere.
But
I
I mean,
will.
so we have some docs with draft plans, but we also just have a lot of people chatting about. I'm just bouncing ideas, trying to think about what could work. So it's a similar reason by setting that date, we have a target for like, okay, everybody that's looking at migrating Prow, we're shooting for the beginning of 132. Let's have the plan resolved by then. But again, we have 5+ months there, and we already have some plausible approaches.
Just to give more clarity, I don't want to say clarification or context. It's more like we have two options here. Either we do a live migration, or we basically have a maintenance window where we shut down the entire CI and we do the migration. That's basically the two paths we currently see right now. And Enterprise is basically looking at the first option, where we are capable to do a live migration. I'm a little skeptical about this because I know the technical requirement of doing this. So basically, my personal take is push for option 2, which is basically have a downtime of 1 week where we basically stop running everything, we do the migration.
Right.
And
I'm sorry, my bad.
So yeah, that's the one thing. I would drop the draft plan. I was working with Michelle somewhere in the Slack channel, and we'll basically see the step we put in place. We're trying to figure out basically what are the things we're missing, what we're not, how we are in line to this. But before I finish, I have a call to action for everyone. The first blocker for us is the prior job migration. That's the big blocker. So we are basically close to finish this, and the biggest blocker currently are K8s job, but that should be handled pretty quickly before May. But our biggest blocker are basically the prior job migration. And the email we send also target SIG, basically community members, because I noticed there's like a lot of jobs really basically owned by SIG with specific requirements or specific credentials that need to be migrated. And it's going to be hard for me or Ricky to basically do that because for reasons. So this is my call to action to anyone, basically, not only companies, but also community members, because it's like jobs we really need to migrate. And they are not migrated because we don't have full understanding of those jobs. Yeah, SIG storage is like the one thing, for example, we accidentally create some kind of failures storage gems for this. But yeah.
You're talking about SIG storage there's some jobs that have a GCP secret, right?
No, they were using a GCP, a Google owned bucket.
Yeah, so
there's lots of jobs that are using a GCS bucket with a special name to store intermediate artifacts.
Yeah.
Either we need to fix kube test so it runs off of the local artifacts that were built, or we need to mint another bucket.
I think it's cube up, like it fetches things to the VMs.
Yes.
Yeah. And
So
those I'm trying to look at, because I know there are some things where it's like vSphere is one thing, Azure is another thing, and then we have a couple of these that are actually the calls coming inside the house. It's like people at Google that set up other secrets, possibly even before a external secret operator, and they need dealing with.
Exactly. Yeah, I think this is the kind of example where basically we need help from the community, because they're like, it's not only about job with specific credential or basically company owned credential. There are also job with basically specific requirement that need to be migrated, and we don't have a full understanding of that. So that's not my call
There's a third
for
class,
action.
Which I think I've about finished as of yesterday after the announcement, which is just jobs that shouldn't exist. We used to be just like the Google team was running the CI, and before they had separate private instances, it was like, sure, Istio can use this or whatever. We still had some long tail on that. I think that's almost gone. I think the CFL fuzz stuff might fall under that. And we'll just prune some of that. I think I've pretty much handled that part. But if you see anything else like that, drop a ping. Like, we should not don't assume that a job has to be migrated. If we have things that aren't really, we still had some things that aren't really the Kubernetes community that like we should just tear down. I did some of that yesterday.
Yeah, so about that, just to be clear, we have exception. Like, I think we have an agreement that we have basically continuity and C advisors are going to be exception. CNCF gave us resource to basically to do the migration, so that's going to be plugged to current CI, but paid by CNCF. So that's like the two only cases I know about, and the rest is going to be TBD.
And API Snoop because it's transitioning into the org anyhow, so there's no point in
That's SIG architecture, so that's a sub project, so that's fine.
well, it wasn't, but it will be now. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think we're really close to finish it. Well, be able to identify basically what will not migrate. But like again, this is my call for help. Like if you can migrate jobs and we have like in-depth knowledge of those jobs, please do it. If you need like something to be enabled in K8s-Infra, reach out to SIG K8s-Infra so we can help you do the migration. We did that with, for example, GC ingresses and others, I think, sub-projects. So yeah. Yes, Marco.
Does it make some sense to try to meet with K-Ops folks at KubeCon and like see if like they can introduce us a little bit into how everything works, what might be requirements, and then we see like if we can push it forward a little bit.
Oh, sorry to cut you. I meet with them every week about this. So it's not like we start the migration. We already started the migration with them. It's just that like a few technical detail we need to deal with. I'm confident we're gonna have that migrate by basically by May. It's just a matter of bandwidth and basically technical blocker we discover like during basically while we were trying to migrate some job, we realized so we need to bump the AWS SDK because yeah, there was like it was too old to do the migration and Mohammed work on improve the deployer for kubetest2 to ensure we can do the migration. So we are not starting right now. We already started the migration process. It's just we need to just continue and follow up. So I go to the meeting every week or every 2 weeks to talk about basically the migration. So yeah, we're on track on this. It's just rest. Like SIG release have like specific credential used during the pre-summit, those kind of things. SIG null problem detector doing really rare stuff with the CI that need to be also migrated. So there are multiple edge cases. So that's what I'm saying. We need help because I don't have full understanding of those things. My bandwidth is kind of limited. I don't want to sell bad Ricky. So like we need help to finish the line.
But I mean that's part of the point. We put out an announcement and we're like, look, there's a hard deadline here. Like if your jobs haven't been migrated yet, you need to get them migrated. We're going to continue to help. But if you care about some CI and you want to check, here's how you can check. And if it's not migrated, then it, we're turning.
Also the one thing we really need to be clear is we will delete proud job, but we will delete those we don't want to migrate for technical reason. Like those tied to Google because we can migrate them. But now those with credential, we could migrate them and let them fail. We don't, I mean, there's like no worry about this. We basically say your credential doesn't exist in the community infrastructure, so the job will fail. It's up to you to figure out how to make it happen. We can do that.
It's also effectively the same thing as, I mean, if the team moves on and that cluster gets deleted by some automated process and there's no one around to do this, like those jobs were always they're going away at some point. We're just setting a deadline to get ahead of this, and so we can focus on running the community infrastructure smoothly. So if jobs don't migrate, it's unfortunate, but they can always be stood back up afterwards on the new infra.
Yeah.
And we're giving a pretty generous amount of time so that, if there's anybody in the community that like, I work on project X and it's got to have CI. Okay, you have 5 months to make sure that you're on the community infra one way or another.
Yeah. I mean, one option is just not to delete jobs and basically just do a copy pass, but they will fail. And that's going to be, and people will come and say, okay, the default cluster is gone.
It'll put load on the infra. If there's jobs still scheduling the old cluster, we're deleting them and they're in the Git history.
Yeah.
I'm giving an example of an option in basically a
Yeah.
situation. This is a possibility.
Yeah.
This is like, yeah, we know the consequences of that. Basically, it's impactful during the migration, but yeah.
So, shoot, 1 second. Sorry. I did have one thing that I wanted to ask Ricky before we wrapped up for today. Ricky, you had some tools to figure out like which ones still need to be migrated, right?
Yeah.
So can we run that tool and like open up a PR with here is the list, current list as of the date, right?
Yeah, we have that. We're tracking K8s-Infra. I mean, the umbrella issue that we are currently working under.
Yeah, we just need a updated list somewhere that people can check.
Yeah,
frequently.
Right here, 318. Yeah, this issue lays out every possible job that can be migrated.
We want the ones that can't be migrated, which are not yet migrated.
Yeah, I can generate that. Yeah.
So there is one place where we can point people to and say, look, this is your SIG, this is your jobs, this is your repository. Go nuts, right? Like, and like otherwise people will say, oh, you sent me an email, but I don't know what it means, right?
Yes.
I was thinking we could put. I was thinking we could add a post submit on the config directory, running that tool and spitting out the like detailed mode. So that we can just like link to.
Yeah, I'll leave it to Ricky to figure out like what is the best way to do it.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, because I give people a pointer to the tool, but then they have to actually run it.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah.
I can do a PR, and we can consider adding some job to at least provide a warning that
if we
have an optional failure, that hey, this job is not on the community cluster or something.
If we can spit up a HTML page or something like that, we can put it up in a GCS bucket and like people can go there and take a look or something like that. That will work. Okay.
Yeah.
But also, I do think it's fair that like we've made a call to action to people that like, look, you should check like if you care about your job.
Yeah, nobody does that. Nobody does that.
Okay, but Dims, if no one wants to do anything, they're relying on the good graces of like Ricky to move it, and if that doesn't happen, then that's that. I mean, that was a bad choice.
I think yeah. Let's wrap up because we're after time. I think like basically we made a call to action that people need to care about the job, and by basically August 1, we shut down everything, and we now being generous and basically say, okay, this is the list. Could be a false positive on that list. Take a look. See if your jobs are targeted by this.
Well, I would actually say it's any of jobs that aren't migrated. It's not jobs that could be migrated or something, or that Ricky plans to migrate. If your job isn't migrated now, there's a 5-month window.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter whether or not Ricky's planning to move it for you. You should be paying attention to this. And if you're not paying attention to this, you don't care about your CI. And I just don't think we have the bandwidth for that.
Yeah, I think the one thing is like we don't even need to basically
and if people realize after it gets turned down, then we'll deal with that then.
Yeah, like don't necessarily need to be pretty, but like have a list in the KK issue and then send that as a follow-up and say, okay, we did identify the list of things we basically will not migrate. If there's a false positive on this, reach out to us.
I'm saying not even that. I'm saying the jobs that are not currently migrated at any given time are at risk.
Yeah.
Because there's no guarantee that we have enough bandwidth to migrate all of them. And if you're not pitching in on a job, then it might not get migrated. And we're moving on. We've been at this for a really long time.
Yeah. And so I want to give them a list of the jobs so they can like take a look at it and say, I don't care about any of these. I'm not going to do anything.
I think we should link to the issues that Ricky has with the things that we're tracking that we're attempting to risk so they can see the visibility we're trying to, but we should just give them a list of this is what's not migrated.
I'll create an issue with all of the jobs that we, to our understanding, cannot be moved right now, and we can put that in the
I'm saying frame it as these are all the jobs that have not been migrated.
Yeah.
These are the tracking issues for what we're attempting to do.
And by default will go away.
Yeah. By default, all jobs that are not migrated go away if we don't
Go
have
away, yeah.
time. So
Yeah.
I would say let's not do one that's like, here's the ones that we think we're not trying or something, because that also gives people a false sense of like, oh, but we're going to handle all these other ones. We hope to handle the other ones. Maybe
It's
we
a
don't have
binary.
enough time ourselves, and like
We have an end race and we're out of time.
Yep.
So like, let's give 1 minute to wrap up the meeting.
If
You
so-
have the mic.
Iftach.
Just a
Yes.
quick thought of maybe potentially migrating the cluster default or the default require explicit mapping to either AWS or for jobs that
no, it's-
depend and need.
It's
Sorry.
not possible.
Sorry.
Yeah.
No worries. No worries.
That is not under consideration at all.
No worries. No worries.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
that way we could sunset the dependency on cluster default as a usage, right? And you don't support that, but if
For
it's
a
not
lot
supported,
of-
no worries.
Yeah, we
for-
talked about this many times, and it's just a mess there. There's lots of jobs.
worries.
No, just to
well,
give you
well,
some context, there is lots of jobs that don't work. Lots of jobs that have been failing forever. Lots of secrets out there that we don't have access to, that we can't migrate. So it's just a lot of things there.
yeah, it'll be
So-
effectively like shutting off those jobs if we just force them to a different cluster.
Yeah.
So we're just
Yeah.
going to remove them if no one has the care to move them.
So if we move them, they will fail and they'll be burn up CPU and it'll drive up the cost. So it doesn't really help. That's a problem.
Well, we will
Thanks,
see.
everyone.
I mean, yeah, we will see.
Yeah.
Okay, we're out of time. I'm gonna stop recording.
Thanks all.
People,
I gotta go.
bye bye YouTube.
Bye, everyone.